Good morning. Good morning. Man, it's nice to be outside. Things are changing. We're coming into the pink moon. That's going to be really great. It's a time of letting go. And I am working with a client right now that is on his third day sober. And that's a big accomplishment for anybody, that's is so easy to slip back into habits and patterns in that first little while. And I mean, it can come up later on too. But I just wanted to celebrate that while I'm on here with you talking about something that is also super important, because one of the things that came up is, how about microdosing? I really have this call to mushrooms. Is that going to help me? And I said, yeah, mushrooms for sure can help, with a lot of things. It can help with withdrawal symptoms. Mushrooms can help in all kinds of areas. Real talk here, like, it's not a highlight reel. I'm going to actually go in depth here, because they don't just like change life overnight. Yeah, I want to say the things, like, there's a lot of fads right now: microdosing LSD, microdosing cannabis, microdosing mushrooms, microdosing ayahuasca. I hear it all. So I really want to ground in here. Microdosing is super, super powerful. It is magic. There's emerging research showing that psychedelics like psilocybin can increase neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to form new connections. So how they say your brain's not fully developed until 21 to 25 years old, that doesn't mean your brain stops growing. It doesn't matter how old you are, you can still make new connections, new neural pathways. Another thing is that it decreases activity in the default mode network. And that's tied to ego, to rumination, to rigid thinking patterns. So when we're dampening the highways that we've been using and we're cutting that off, you think about it like if they cut off a main highway, everybody has to use those alternative side roads. And maybe you've used those side roads a few times before, and they can be turned into highways if they're helping you, or maybe you haven't used one of those side roads in a while, and so now it's been taken back over by nature and weeds and things, and it has to be redeveloped. Or maybe you tap into neuroplasticity and you create all kinds of new ways of getting there. And it's really that, like John Lennon thinking, there are no problems, there are only solutions. And so then you become a solution maker instead of a problem solver. I don't know what I'm saying here, but you guys are like, I hope you're with me. Anyways, yeah, microdosing can also support mood, creativity, emotional flexibility. It's a big part of why people are taking them, because they'll have brighter thoughts, be more present, see more synchronicities, experience them, feel them, more connection to meaning, purpose, to that magic. Unlike larger doses, microdosing can also allow you to stay functional in your day-to-day life, go about your day-to-day life like a regular person, be an active participant instead of being taken on a full journey. So you are learning on the way instead of trying to unpack everything that you learned in a big way. But what doesn't get talked about enough is that microdosing is not neutral. Microdosing can also amplify patterns. It doesn't just magically make things better. It does enhance the neuroplasticity, which means whatever patterns are active can become stronger. And this is where it gets dangerous, because if someone is struggling with addiction, stuck in automatic negative thought loops, have those ants, like ants, you might have like a couple. Maybe you recognize that there are some negative thoughts that you are obsessing or that continuously come back. We call those ants, automatic negative thoughts. But what else happens with ants? is that it always goes deeper, right? You can follow a couple little ants and you see where they lead, and then all of a sudden there's a whole colony under there. So that can become stronger. Maybe now the ants are getting angry and they're biting you like red ants can do when you interfere. So this becomes like bigger work, like Napoleon Hill talked about, outwitting the devil, getting away from that drifter. This is the integration work, the stuff you have to actively be doing. If you're not doing that work, if you're not crowding out with the positive thoughts, the positive affirmations, if you're not in that place where you can do that or where you see value in that, if you are not doing the integration work, then yes, these things can keep looping. You can loop anxiety, you can loop depression, experiencing suicidal ideation may not change, or may become like even more logical, perhaps. Microdosing can enforce all kinds of things, and we want to, of course, being in the business of plants, frogs, and fungi, of course, I want to talk about, the beauty, the magic, like all the really good stuff, but it can also be harmful. It's not harmful on its own, but because the brain is becoming more efficient at doing what it's already doing. And this is the thing with cannabis too, right? Joe Rogan talks about this, where it's like cannabis stay in your system about 4 hours. If you set an intention, you know what you're going to be doing for those hours, and you smoke cannabis, you will be able to focus. Mama Ganja will help you complete tasks and get that done and be creative. If you're going to smoke and do art by the end of the 4 hours, you're going to be like, oh man, would you look at this? Because it'll help you focus and unleash that creative side. However, if you don't set an intention and you have a default mode network set to sit on the couch and eat hamburgers and think about why your neighbor sucks, then that's what you're going to end up doing for those 4 hours, and it's going to enforce it. So it's not that the cannabis is bad, or even that you're bad. It's just that the patterns and the habits and that default mode network is already programmed, and you have to consciously be taking the effort and the time to program yourself the way that you want for the world and the life. You have to become the change that you wish to see in the world, be the magical medicine that you're looking for, and be it for yourself as well. Sure, the substances are great, but it's only part of the story. Now let's talk about the default mode network nuisance a little bit more. You'll often hear that psychedelics turn off the default mode network, and that is very true on high doses, but at microdose levels, the effect is much more subtle, just like the experience is more subtle. So instead of fully interrupting those loops, you'll still stay inside of them often, and just with neuroplasticity, you can unintentionally wire the patterns deeper, which is what I've kind of been saying along here. We're seeing research from places like Johns Hopkins University and Imperial College in London that psychedelics can promote neuroflexibility, that they reduce rigid patterns and control settings, that setting, and integration are critical variables. But most of that research is on macrodoses in therapeutic environments, not casual microdosing without support. That's an important thing to see, that there's a difference. There is an important distinction between those two. I want to shift here, because if you guys have questions about any of this, I'll be happy to talk to you one-on-one. I've been doing this work for a very long time. I've been at the forefront for a very long time, and I love the integration space and so much more. But yeah, I'm gonna just like shift here, because another thing is that SSRIs are very common. There's a huge percent of people that are on SSRIs because of addictive behaviors, or what led to the addictions. And so when they're going through recovery, may end up on anxiety meds or depression meds. And so people don't always understand that if you're on SSRIs, antidepressants that affect serotonin, that microdosing may feel like it's not working, and that's because the SSRIs can blunt or reduce the effects of psychedelics at serotonin receptors. So some people may need higher doses to feel anything, or will still maybe just feel just like very little, subtle. So microdosing can sometimes help people navigate the moods and the transitions, but it's not a simple overlap, and that's something that should always be approached with support and awareness. Another thing too around that is that it's not just about that would be lower doses not feeling it. Another thing that it could help with, and why a lot of people is transitioning, is because they don't want to be on those pills long term. So you're getting sober, maybe you, to stay sober and to make it through some things and to do some of the preparation work, you stay on the SSRIs for 6 months, a year, but now you want off. So now you're using the microdosing to help with the withdrawal symptoms that can be horrible on those types of medication. And then also like exploring with the doses. So again, if you want to talk about this, I'd be happy to sit one-on-one with you and figure out what's working, what's not working, where you're at on a personal individual level, because this is multifaceted and it is a bio-individual approach that I always take. Sure, I do group things, but also, this one-on-one support is something that I'm very passionate about, and I make accessible to everybody through donations. So it doesn't matter how much, it doesn't matter where you are in life. I am a strong believer that, if we're meant to connect, we will. And I'm not going to let you go like just like off on your own. Alignment is my assignment here, and this is my work to do. So I do make it accessible. Don't be scared to reach out. There's no silly questions or no reason not to, is essentially what I'm saying. I also want to say that psychedelics are not an escape tool. Microdosing is not a shortcut. It's not a bypass. It's something that replaces therapy in a way. It's not like, it doesn't replace therapy, but it's a type of therapy in a way. It doesn't replace like the nervous system work or the integration. You have to be doing those things, and I can help you with that too. I've had my business since 2017 doing integration work. I also, collected certifications like they were Pokemon for a while. I still, am a forever learner, and I don't stop because of a title or a label or a certificate. I'm continuing on this path to always be doing the integration work for myself. Also, your lifestyle changes, those are things that you're going to have to recognize. You're going to have to see, like, where are you on the scale of change? Is change something that is easy for you, that you are allowing, that you are inviting, that you're volunteering yourself to do? Or is that something where you feel stuck and limited and really don't know how, or don't even know if you want to make it past there? Psychedelics will amplify what is already there, as I talked about. So if your life is chaotic, disconnected, or unregulated, it's going to show you those things. And that's why sometimes people feel paranoid or will go into those bad trips. It's also why if you don't clean your house, you're going to spend your mushroom trip cleaning your house. It's going to show you where every single thing of dirt is that you need to do. And it's going to feel overwhelming and chaotic because it's showing you that that's how you've been living and that it's not in alignment. Like, again, I could, all these topics, I could just go. But I want to stay on focus, and I got to get back to the kids here too. So what actually makes it work? What I've seen and experienced is that microdosing can be powerful when paired with clear intentions, emotional awareness, nervous system regulation, integration practices, which can vary person to person, honest self-reflection, super important, because then you're not just creating new patterns, you're creating aligned patterns. Alignment is the assignment, people. All right. I want to say this clearly, especially for anybody struggling deeply, okay? If you are in a place of severe depression, intrusive negative thinking, suicidal ideation, microdosing is not something to experiment with casually or alone. Okay, you want a guide. I can either like sit with you and figure out what that looks like, and refer you to the right place depending on what state or province or country you are in. We do have what we call the Elemental Growth Network. It is like a mycelium network that just runs underground, and it's been established for quite a while. It's not something I openly invite people to. You have to be vetted. So again, we need to be able to sit together, if it's over the phone or the internet or in person, whatever. But that support matters, and context matters, and your safety matters. Microdosing can be super beautiful as the spring days after a long winter, as beautiful as the birds singing, as beautiful as looking out on the bay right now, knowing that, you know, the ice is going to break and soon people are going to be swimming and boats are going to be running. You know, it can open doors of perception, doors of possibility. It can soften the areas where you feel rigid. It can reconnect you to wonder, to passion, to purpose, to dharma. You are the magic. Okay, it is not magic on its own. It's you. It ignites the magic in you. And theogen means the divine within. That's what all religions talked about, was that anything that they can do, you can do. Who they are, you are. It's inside that one love. And so, yeah, you are the medicine, you are the magic. It's just remembering that and feeling it and believing it for yourself, which does come. It just takes time. So, you know, if you are in addiction, chances are you're a highly sensitive individual, and you just realize that this life isn't in alignment, and that there's some serious things wrong with how our culture and how our society and how we've been treating the earth and how we treat each other, and how we've been treated. It's just all piling up. And now you are using substances and sex and gambling and whatever else or anything else in order to feel normal, but it's not. What it's actually telling you is that things aren't normal, and you are just a sensitive person that can feel that. And it's your job. If you are fitting out in the world and you feel you don't belong, it's because you're here to help create the new one. So we need you. We need more people doing this work, freeing themselves up, like feeling in their heart that like vibration moving from hand to heart to soul. You know, your patterns, your nervous system, your environment, they all shape the outcome of a psychedelic experience. They also shape your life. Microdosing doesn't create a new you. It amplifies who you already are, what's inside. And sometimes we have to release some things to get to that core. And so I just am sharing this. We got that full moon coming up. It is a time of letting go. It's when things are changing. You know, we're in the season now where everything is melting away. The element is that water. We can wash everything away, and we're going to be starting anew. And all of the trees are reminding us of that as they start budding, as you know, little sprouts start popping up. It's such a transitional time. I'm very proud of this client. I'm also proud of my sister, who is almost 3 months. So I got a client of 3 days, and my sister almost 3 months sober. So, you know, things are changing there too. And I'm just really excited for what's changing. I know the world may seem like it is in ruins, but I also think that this is just the beginning of something completely amazing. A time when humanity can come back to being human. And I just want to tell you all how much I love you and that I'm here. You know, let's keep walking the good path. Smudge under our feet, walk the good path, like Trudy would say. I love you all. Bye.